Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Red Flood as Anarcho-primitivism France. The free people of Gaul, technologies for nerds, and we're destroying every single factory in the country. I mean, we're going to remove Divided Nation, which is pretty nice. There is so much text in this mod, it's actually insanity. They're going to at least wait for this to finish, and then I'll read this. There we go, so, for statelessness, it's pretty bad. Like, these are actually, like, really bad for you. This is basically hard mode. It's hard mode for France. And we'll see how it goes. Or we might just get, like, our shit kicked in once we go to war with Germany. But, you know, we'll see. The war within. Emmanuel was not feeling all that well today. Today, there was a tick in the back of his mind. What was it? What was it? It doesn't matter. He continued with the plans. Maurice was in front of him speaking about something. God, what? Could you repeat that? Speak slower, please. Maurice, speak slower. I'm not able to. He realized that he wasn't saying that. At least his mouth wasn't saying that. Something flashed in the corner of his eye. Was that a person? Surely one of the privates just passing through a nearby corridor. Yes, exactly. A private moving nearby. In this room that only had one door, no corridors. It was just he and Maurice. That didn't make sense. But it was the only explanation. He wasn't crazy after all. Absolutely not. The people who were insane, they were the ones in power. He was fighting them. He wasn't insane. That's how it worked, right? That's how it worked. The tugging. Someone had looped the chain around the back of his skull. He could feel it. The wounds, the dragging friction of metal. It hurt. It hurt so much. The tugging, the chain, pulling his brain out from its fucking skull. There's a lot of swearing in this mod. Can I get a PG-13 mod, please? Thank you very much. Artyom opened his eyes and breathed out a sigh of relief. It was over. He was in control now. Gather yourself, Artyom. Let yourself. Where were you? Oh, my poor man. What have you gotten yourself into? Use focus for a few days and now, friend. Some man had seen the most crisp and clear nightmares when speaking to him. Are you quite alright? Everything clicked. Everything made sense. And one terrible cruel realization. I apologize, my friend. He adjusted. Trying to figure out what was going on. He was in a building, abandoned, yes. He could tell that by the dust on the windows, and yes. Okay, this man was speaking, talking about propaganda, about posters, recruiting, arming. He nodded along, listening to what he had to say. Of course, Artyom said, pointing at a specific part of the map. We could try to strike here. He pointed in the mansion at someone he quite disliked. Some idiot who didn't really believe in him or in futurism, and merely in his own power. Eliminating him would be useful, and if these idiots could do it and get themselves arrested, even better. Maurice said. Yes, I think so. Thank you, friend. I shall organize the force as soon as possible. Good, my friend, he replied. I shall see you again soon. So, Maurice. So Emmanuel turned into Artyom? Am I reading this right? Did Artyom mind control this man? Maybe? I have no idea. I have no clue. We're actually losing political power today, which is fantastic. So, changing any of these options is basically never going to work. Construction speed right now will be completed in... Okay, the Austrian Communist Annex, not a big surprise. So we have a negative 100% penalty. I mean, the thing is that they're just cheap. But it's still going to take actually forever to build anything. Like, when will you be done? You'll be done in October 4th, 1937. But again, these are the ones that are worth 500 points each. These are worth 7,000. So these would probably, like, never build in time. So we're just going to keep going with this weird-ass fort plan I got going on. So, partitioned partisans. Maurice was tied to a post, screaming in his lungs about the betrayal and hatred. Whatever he was saying was completely lost on Artyom. He didn't really care about what some lunatic was saying, screaming out freedom, restoration of France, some vague and ill-defined dream of deposing Artyom and recreating a France that would inevitably fail just as the old one Ali loved. It didn't matter. He sat watching the madman rave. 3 militiamen were laughing with each other, talking about the man they were charged with executing. It was mercy, really. Sometimes people were so far gone that so far gone that to call them people anymore would be a form of torture. There were many madmen and friends, people so blindly in love with some past, some desire to reserve what never worked, and Artyom just did not understand it. It was understandable, of course, that one would want to keep things the same. Status quos were comfortable, but they were also the bane of progress. Something that to be disregarded, despite his discomfort, the unknown fear that you felt was something new, but no different than the pain and the muscles one had felt after a good run. It was a sign of improvement. Those who denied what that would rather... Okay, so... Trying to get... okay. He died. He found none. Died sobbing. Another successful foray. So, like, can my guy mind control people? Like, are you... Like... I'm so confused about what's going on right now. I mean, as far as I can tell, The research speed hasn't decreased, which is good. Reinforcement rate plus 5%. Yeah, we do want a radio, even though, again, we're destroying all technology, but that's okay. So about 20 days we'll burn down every single building in France. I'm sure that'll have absolutely no ill consequences. We're just going to basically be building a bunch of infantry, because we're not going to be able to, yeah, we're not building anything. Completion time in never. So, actually, I probably want to, like, duplicate you. Put in, you know, like a 20 stack of, infantry. But with absolutely nothing except for rifles. Put in a, you know, do I have anything like a tree? You know, how about like you? That's fine. So delete all these templates. Train up these other templates here. 28 divisions is fine. Because we're not going to be able to build anything. At all. I know that I think we do get some events for infantry equipment. Do I know where it is? Training time is 80%. Population, yeah, so like we can build massive amounts of really shitty units. So we're basically, France is going to become like the Zerg or like the Flood. 210 days for this event to finish. Destroy all military and civilian factories. Yeah, no, I mean that sounds fine. There's absolutely no industry. We actually can't even support troops on our front line anymore because we actually do not have. We don't have supplies to do anything, which is insane. So, last Zero burns, which is the capital, which is basically Paris. Withdrawal is held. So, we're going to lose 50,000 manpower here. Millions of dreary men, women, and children marched from the former city, escorted by a brave militias adorned in furs and robes. The scene produced a haunting show of the horrors of urban existence as the crowds mourned from being removed from their addicted suburbia. Poor children, entranced by the industrial opium, burst into tears upon being escorted from their homes. Even some pathetic adults broke down from the withdrawal. Luckily, our militiamen were there to knock this disgusting display from the crowd, lest others feel comfortable in their addiction. Upon marching a mile from the city, the crowd's tears were illuminated by a sudden blaze from their former home. The patchwork homes in the former and private sector provided kindling for the blaze. An armed explosive destroyed the major landmarks. The crowd began to cry out in anguish as the Eiffel Tower was rattled with explosive under its base. Some people began to attack the militias and were adequately repelled with necessary force for such serious evil. As the caravan began to move from the wonderful new Luddite shelters, the women began to cry uncomfortably. The militiaman addressed her calmly. The following conversation was recorded. I can't go on. I lost everything. What do you mean? You now have freedom, austerity, autonomy, and liberation from the monotony of industrial hell. Like all the buildings lost its worth dignity. You misunderstand. My son never left the apartment. Okay, so 50,000 people just died. But that's okay. You know what? 50,000 people for progress, I think, is A-okay. It is what it is. So we are missing anti-tank weapons. And that's fine. Again, like I actually cannot support my troops on this front line right now. So you have to be in the like around the capital because you legitimately cannot be on this front. Like just these 6 infantry divisions are actually causing too much supply issues. So just stay away from the fronts for now, because I don't think anybody's going to be attacking us. But I prefer not to take a million points of attrition, especially when, again, I can't build anything. Oh, I can, no, wait. There's a day when it's like, oh no, you can do it, and then it says no. So I don't know if these are actually slowly building or not. I think they might be. No, it's actually, it's going down. One of our generals have gotten sick, that's fine. Not a big deal. So do you have supplies down here? Yes, you're still fine, actually. I don't know where we're getting gasoline from. I mean, we still have our 25 boats. That's nice. We'll combine the Navy into one big fleet. We'll set you in charge. How many planes do we have? We have 14. It's not a lot, I will admit. And again, we can't actually replace these at all. So only like... yeah, that's normal operations. No, low intensity. Because we absolutely cannot risk my planes getting shot down. I mean, how many planes does Germany have? Only like 40 planes. I mean, Britain has a ton. So that's a little bit of an issue. You know, but soon, you know, 150 days from now, we will have liberated all of France in the glorious name of anarcho-primitivism. And I think everybody will be a lot happier when they're not able to, you know, like glasses, destroy them. Radios, blow those shit. Let's blow it up. I don't even like, what are they still armed with rifles? Who said that they could have explosives? I feel like explosives is counterproductive to our glorious way of life. And we also get no political power anymore. Which is not the best. You also have, like, no manpower, but that's okay. That'll change soon enough once we can recruit, you know, 50% of our population. Japan's declared war on Japan. Interesting. So wait, which faction did Germany go down? They elected... I'm guessing they elected the KPD. So we've had Revolutionary Japan. They are Vanguard Socialist. They're led by this dude against Imperial Japan. We'll see how that goes. Do you have a... I mean, you have a thing as well, but I think it's exactly the same. Yeah, will of the people. That's okay. Japan, you just do whatever you want. I mean, none of this is core territory, so I think the Revolutionary Japan... How many men do you have? You have a decent amount, and I think most of Japan's army is actually in China, so I think the revolution will definitely succeed. So we'll see what happens there. Good to see some interesting stuff. So we've invented the radio. We've done construction 1. But anybody who's found using the radio will be sentenced to death. Just as FYI to anybody who's listening. Resource extraction gain. But that doesn't matter though, does it? I don't think it does. Because we're not really building anything, right? I mean, we still have a handful of artillery, so we might as well upgrade that. I have no idea what's going to be happening here. I've no idea how do you win under these circumstances. I actually have no idea. Spain, how many men do you have? You have 14 and 21 divisions. Portugal also has about 14 and 21, 8 to 12. Italy has an okay amount. Like, we can literally support like 4 divisions down here, and that's about it. So no matter what we do, we are going to be taking massive amounts of attrition. And we're about halfway here, done. We're going to destroy literally everything we have. And that sounds fun. The Uganda Communists declared war on the British. Imperial Japan did annex the smaller guy down here. I mean, is Japan not close to capitulation? Like, they feel like they've lost most of their territory. They're at 33%. Is this territory over here like cores? No. I think as soon as they lose Nagasaki, they might actually capitulate. They did. So the Imperial Japan is now just kind of over here on its own. Peace of Beijing, negotiating. So I have... It's a little bit strange, to say the least. That Imperial Japan now just exists in the middle of China. I'm sure the Emperor will have a great time there. Spain's declared war on Spain. I mean, if there is a... I mean, I want to support the Spanish state. Can I do that in here? I know, I think there's an event down here, like, support Spain. Yeah, adventure in Spain down here. Spanish state gains some points, but that's about it. Got some more technology. Let us upgrade our... I think, again, just going for more research speed. Getting the nuke might work. I mean, we're going to go for mass assault. Because that is where our anarcho-primitivism, all their little bonuses are for that one right there. Or they're for, they are for... My brain's melting. They're for mass assault. Yes, there we go. It took a while for me to say it, but we did get there in the end. And we got another about 50 days until we can destroy every single factory in the country. I just don't really know how this is really going to play out. None of you guys can join factions. They would both say yes to joining, but they're just like not allowed to right now. So Rom is back in charge of Austria. Yeah, I'm guessing just inviting the factions is not allowed within the mod at this point. Again, I would have liked to expand the League of Fume to include Austria, Yugoslavia, Montenegro. Like all those guys being in my faction, I think would be pretty decent. I know we can do it like through this tree here, Austrian comrades, and then be able to influence Austrian politics. 35 days for all of those. And most of these afterwards are pretty cheap. They're only 35 days, so this is just the one very long one. We're 42 days, like we're almost there. What are the other ones we could have done? We could have just gone with collaboration. And then we have appease this dude. Galactic Federation, free trade policies. Yeah, no, I mean just boring stuff. Not the extremely good. Everyone has a little, like a stick. A sticks-based military, I think, is our best hopes here for world conquest. How the hell are you going to take over all of Europe with this army? Where you're not even allowed to have infrastructure, nor can you really even get supply lines up? That's a fantastic question. I have no idea if we're ever going to find out what the answer to that question is. Yeah, so Uganda's been annexed. Not a huge surprise. We could send volunteers to you. And I think I'm going to. So we're going to send some volunteers. Because having a friendly guy on our border, I think, would be for the best. And, you know, Spain will actually have infrastructure. They have not blown up all their stuff like we have. We will not be able to reinforce our soldiers, unfortunately. We can't really reinforce anything. Like, as soon as somebody's, like, dead, they're dead forever. And with that, we no longer have... We have 11 factories still. Well, part of destroying every factory, do you not understand? I mean, so yeah, it did not destroy the dockyards. The dockyards are still fine. But other than that, we literally have no military factories whatsoever. Like, not a single one. So let's go for recruitable population plus 50%, because that seems hilarious. Where did our troops arrive? They arrived down here in the south. We'll draw a quick line here, because we want to be able to push our way into Madrid. How many men do you have? A decent amount. Yeah, we can 63. If we can punch our way through the Spanish lines, take Madrid, I think that would be beneficial. I'm hoping Jose over here can actually win the war. Yeah, and as soon as you're done with that, you're gonna go push here, push here. And that should work out okay. I think... I mean, again, we want upgrades that are basically just pure... just upgrades that don't require us to build anything. You know what I mean? Nor requires us to actually construct buildings. So, from that, I think we are just going to go fuel gain from oil. Okay, as long as we can hold out here. Okay, we did get some reinforcements from our Spanish ally. Shrink our front lines down by 1. And I think this is all working out pretty okay. Pretty okay. And we got our 50% recruited population. That's a lot of recruited population. And I think we can get it higher still too. But I think it's going to be a good time to end this episode. So thanks for watching. My name is AnPrim. If you enjoyed, give it a thumbs up. If you're not enjoying, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.